I've never made a coffee table before, but in this video I'm showing you how I made one from birch plywood offcuts. And yes, it doesn't go to plan. The first job was to get down and set up the table saw, and here you can see me struggling a little bit to do that. I decided to cut all the pieces down into 3cm strips, as this will get the most out of all the offcuts and be a good thickness for the final table. Once finished, I ended up with about 35 strips in total. As you can see, they got quite burned on the saw, but I didn't mind this as I knew they would all need leveling after I glued them together anyway. So I glued these up into 2 planks with the idea of making 2 mini tables from them. I had a CNC machine available, so I used this to flatten the planks to an even thickness. Unfortunately, after doing this, I realised that quite a lot of chipping had occurred on one of the edges, so I had to change plan and decided to make one bigger coffee table instead of two. I managed to use a different workshop to cut the pieces up, but I forgot to film it. So here I'm showing what cuts I made and how I'm going to glue them back together. So now the plan is to use the smaller piece as one of the legs for the coffee table and cut the bigger piece into two. One piece is the other leg and the other is the top. I went back to the other workshop to do this, and this time I actually remembered to film. I decided I wanted to use mitre joints to attach the pieces together, so I had to cut 45-degree angles on all three parts. Even though the table saw in this workshop was better than the other one I was using, it didn't have any attachments, like a sled, so these cuts weren't perfect. In hindsight, I wouldn't have tried to use mitre joints, and I just could have used 90-degree cuts instead. So after sanding the parts down, it was time to glue it all together. This is where I realised just how off the mitre cuts were. At this point I should have tried to recut, but instead I kept going, using some sawdust with the glue to try and fill in the gaps. These joints actually turned out to be quite strong. Somehow during clamping, a top piece had bowed and split slightly, creating a dip across the middle. To try and fix this, I cut small strips out of the leftover ply to glue across the bottom as reinforcement. I made these strips much wider than I wanted to originally, so that they'd hopefully be strong enough to flatten the top back out. And honestly, I was kind of done with this table by now and just wanted to get it finished. I originally wanted to make this coffee table and sell it for a decent amount, but with all the mistakes I decided to keep it and maybe just give it away for free sometime. Anyway, here's the finished coffee table. Let me know what you think in the comments, and check out my other videos to see me making other stuff.